strategy of the war is being planned. Few of the planners have been told the secret of the bomb. Secretary of State Stettinius and the men in the State Department planning the post-war policy of the United States do not know the secret. On Capitol Hill, congressmen who have appropriated $2 billion for the Manhattan District do not know on what the money is being spent. In laboratories around the country, there are men who know the secret. The scientists are deeply worried by the implications of the force they are about to let loose on the world. One is Leo Szilard, who urged Einstein to tell Roosevelt that the United States ought to try to make an atomic bomb. He recorded his views about the bomb before he died. They are read by his wife.
And this is what he said. In the spring of '45, it was clear that the war against Germany would soon end. And so I began to ask myself, what is the purpose of continuing the development of the bomb? And how would the bomb be used if the war with Japan has not ended by the time we had the first bomb? Initially, we were strongly motivated to produce the bomb because we feared the Germans would get ahead of us. And the only way to prevent them from dropping bombs on us was to have bombs in readiness ourselves. But now with the war won, it was not clear what we were working for. And because of secrecy, there was no intermediate level in the government to which we could have gone for a careful consideration of these issues. The only man with whom we were sure we were entitled to communicate was the president. I knew any number of people who could have reached Roosevelt, but I know nobody offhand who could have reached Truman. Truman just did not move in the same circles.
As Harry Truman comes to speak for the first time to a joint session of Congress, he has much on his mind that takes priority over the atomic bomb. He is still forming his administration. He is still learning his job. Pressing problems around the world demand his attention. Foremost among these is the global war the United States is fighting.
I call upon all Americans to help me keep our nation united in defense of those ideals which have been so eloquently proclaimed by Franklin Roosevelt. Our demand has been, and it remains, unconditional surrender.
For the next 11 days, the President has no time to think about a secret weapon that may or may not work. As he speaks, 3 million American GIs are in Europe, fighting their way across Germany. And beyond the strategy of the war lies the problem of what to do with Germany after the war. How to restore Europe. How to deal with the Soviet Union. On the other side of the world, in the Pacific, on the islands, and coral atolls, the Japanese are resisting fanatically. The toll of the United States dead and wounded on the beaches and in the jungles is rising. At this moment, far from the war, hidden in the hills of East Tennessee, a place not even on a map, called Oak Ridge, under rigid security restrictions, is a plant that uses twice as much electricity as the city of Memphis, uses huge amounts of raw material, has cost almost $1 billion, but does not seem to produce anything. The fact is, behind the wall of security, slowly, painfully, Oak Ridge is manufacturing uranium-235, the explosive material for the atomic bomb. April 25, 1945. As the conference to organize the United Nations begins, State Department policy planners still have not been told about the bomb. The President still has not been briefed. Worried by this, Secretary of War Stimson arranges to see the President.
Mr. Stimson took with him to that meeting a memorandum which he kept among his records and which tells very clearly